Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I hope you're good. Today we're going to be talking about all things hair, 4C hair relaxer, and why I chose to relax my own 4C hair. I'm going to be talking about the why, I'm going to talk about my experience with it so far, and also just the pros and cons I found since relaxing my hair. But before that, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory as to where I'm coming from and where I am now. I think it's very important for me to be honest, open and transparent in the fact that ever since I was young, ever since I came into the UK, I most definitely through billboards and media have absorbed the idea or had absorbed the idea that the best hair, the prettiest hair, the nicest and most desirable hair or hair type is straight hair at the least, but straight long flowing silky hair at the most. So that is kind of probably the beginning of the end for me in terms of my relationship with my previously 4C natural hair. If you've been watching me, you know that I had very strict Christian parents growing up. That kind of has definitely affected and impacted my relationship with my hair. When I say strict Christian parents, I mean the kind of parents that don't allow you to use extensions. They didn't allow me to, really get my hair done in a salon. It had to be somebody we know kind of thing. Not like, it wasn't like a rule, but it definitely just didn't happen. It was always like auntie so-and-so, sister so-and-so. So growing up, the styles I did were either like using like regular cornrow styles or rubber. I will put a picture up in somewhere in this video so you can understand what I mean. This was the style I was going to school with during primary school era. As I got older and I would like argue with my parents about it, they kind of became a little bit lenient and I started using wool, like actual wool, like knitting wool in my hair. And I think maybe around like 17, 18, they got even more relaxed. Like, whoa. And I was able to use Brazilian wool in my hair. It was that was a big step up. Like that was the closest I was ever going to get to being allowed to use extensions, expressions. I was taking anything I could get. But obviously when I got to uni, I started like using proper extensions and buying that for my hair. So that's kind of the chronology of the ways in which I was able and allowed to experiment with my hair. At 13 was when I kind of took matters into my own hands. I took my hair into my own hands because up until then my mom would do my hair for me. I always would be so upset because she never really listened to what I said I wanted. She herself didn't really know much about hair. What she knew, she taught, and what she knew was that you did your hair, you took it out, you did your hair, you took it out, and maybe once every 2 months you washed it, and that was it. That was all that I knew how to do. Now, I have always had very dense, very thick, coily 4C hair. Like I feel like I had the thickest of the thick, but I feel like everybody who has 4C hair says that. But I'll insert a picture of my 4C hair at its best and also at its worst. And at its worst is mostly what it looked like and felt like to me. As far as I'm aware, my hair had never been cut, never been straightened, never been relaxed, never nothing. It is as virgin hair comes. So in April of 2023, I just had a bit of a breakdown over it. I mean, I'd always been having breakdowns, but 2022 April, I had enough and I cut it. I got my boyfriend to just shave it all off and it was such a relief. And I, for the first time, I felt so beautiful. It felt like me. My hair was growing out and it was a bit of an awkward length. So my salon lady, my hairstylist, and she was like an auntie in a salon in the back of a shop. She recommended me trying texture release because I was starting to have hair long enough to do braids, but because it was so short and quite thick, the braids often very quickly looked like old and worn out because my natural hair would kind of like become fuzzy at the root of the braid, and so it just didn't look as clean and my braids weren't lasting as long. So I tried it. March 2023, I got texture release and I absolutely loved it because I felt like I saw quite a bit of growth in the couple of months that I had it for. I think I had it like, I did it in March and maybe August, September was when I was like, okay, I think I need to do another one. This is when I had the breakdown of breakdowns in relation to my hair. So the lady, my salon lady who had done the first texture release, she was like on annual leave. She just had a baby. So the people that were running her salon, I didn't really trust, and I found them to be like in the past not very reliable. So I took it upon myself to just texture release it myself at home, trying to remember the way she did it in the salon. And yeah, I wasn't very patient with my hair because all in all, like this whole experience, my whole journey of being natural and 4C was just full of self-hate. Like the breakdown that I had after trying to texture release my hair at home, it was like, trigger warning, it was self-harming bad. And I just was like, no more. But my hair was like cardboard, like pulling it apart to get through it. It sounded like you were tearing an Amazon box open. It was stiff, it was dry, it was crunchy, it was so bad. I think that same night I decided to just look up for a salon that I'd been wanting to go to for a really long time, and they're the only real salon in my area that deals with black hair, like professionally, not an auntie in the back of the shop, not somebody coming to your house to do your braids. They actually had a shop, they actually had a salon, they did all these kinds of treatment. So I booked in a consultation, and I feel like this is where everything began to change for me. I began to see the light. I definitely went in not really knowing what relaxer was and not really thinking that would be what I would decide on that day. The stylist that I saw, Nathaniel, I love him to bits. He was so helpful, so patient, so kind, so professional, and he kind of just explained to me all the different options I wanted with my hair. He did put relaxer on the table and did kind of like, you know, explain to me all the other more or less permanent solutions, but by the time we like covered all the options, I just said, you know what, I think relaxer is for me. I think relaxed hair suits my lifestyle. It's everything that I want in hair. It's that easy, throw your hair up in a ponytail, throw your hair up in a bun. I was tired of doing wigs. I was tired of ripping my edges out. I was tired of braids that were itchy and long and pulled on my hair. So I was just like, let's just go for relaxer. And that's what we did. 2 weeks after the initial consultation was when my appointment was set. And I tell you, it couldn't come quick enough. I was checking my calendar like, oh my gosh, 3 more sleeps, like 5 more sleeps, 10 more sleeps. My boyfriend was like, girl, you need to calm down. So I'm gonna insert like a clip or an overlay of like me at the actual appointment. I had hoped to vlog the whole thing, but I wasn't really on my YouTube game back then. So yeah, I went in for my appointment and filmed bits of the process for you guys to see.
Lovely. So this is how you're feeling.
I didn't know I got all of that in there.
Girl, I'm telling you, you absolutely have.
I remember when he was like, okay, we're done, and I looked at it and I could not believe, like I was so in love with my hair. You don't understand. I have never felt so happy with my head top in my life. The whole time I was like, oh my God, my hair moves. I kept going, it moves, it moves. Oh, I can feel the breeze on my scalp. All in all, for me, that was like the best decision. And the whole experience was just really, really great. And everything that I had been hoping for my hair. I think oftentimes over the years, all my experiences of getting my hair done by somebody I know or somebody I don't know in a salon or wherever it might be have been just always a little bit disappointing. I've even had someone come round to my house, but the results have never been like perfect or what I would be hoping for. So to go into a salon, get my hair done and feel like all my worries were washed away and the whole thing just be done so professionally, I personally, you can't top that. So for me, Nathaniel, my hairstylist, did advise that I come in every 6 to 8 weeks for either a protein treatment or a touch up on my relaxer just at the roots. It's definitely been 8 weeks, so I need to book in for a protein treatment. That's the backstory of where I was and how I came to be here, rebirthed, relaxed, and living my best life, honestly, completely enjoying this hair. So let's talk about how I feel about my hair now. Initially, it was a bit of a learning curve, but it has been a learning curve that I've been happy to go through. Watching loads of YouTube videos, trying to figure out who to follow and what tools and products I was going to need. But I found that the resources and the videos, in comparison to watching natural hair videos, were a lot more straightforward. From video to video, I find that people who were giving advice on how to take care of your relaxed hair generally gave the same advice, which gave me confidence to buy the products and test the products, but also I think made it easier to figure out what the basis of my routine needed to be. And that is something that I felt like in the natural community made the process of learning about my hair and loving my hair and, you know, taking care of my hair more confusing and more frustrating, because it felt like everybody was saying so many different things, and ultimately I could only ever rely on people who had hair type and hair length exactly like mine, and sometimes those creators weren't always there. Right now I'm at a point where I have learned how to wash my hair and learned how to straighten my hair, and those are two things that were a struggle or something I never knew how to do. Straightening my hair was probably the trickiest and most scariest part of this whole new relaxed hair journey, but it's something I'm definitely I'm dealing with now. I'm fairly confident in. I definitely got a trim when it was first relaxed to cut off dead ends, because like I said, I had never cut my hair before. Learning how to style it at such a short length has been a bit of a struggle, but I've found that putting my hair up in a bun just like this one works for me. So all in all, I'm pretty happy because I found my go-to hairstyle. I've got a wash day routine that's easy and effective and works for me, and I've also got a hair care or hair maintenance routine to make sure my hair is moisturized. The only other things I've noticed in terms of my hair now that I wouldn't say are necessarily cons, but they're things I'm paying attention to and keeping an eye on, is the fact that now compared to before my hair was relaxed, my hair is a lot lighter in color than it ever has been. I'm not sure if it's because of the relaxer or the fact that it's growing back out or the fact that I use heat tools more frequently now than ever, but my hair definitely is more on the brown side than on the black side than it has ever been. It's not something that worries me. I do quite like that it has some color to it, but in all honesty, I don't know if it's getting color or losing color. Secondly, because of the way I got my hair cut and styled when it was relaxed, it was based off another YouTuber's hairstyle that I watched just before going to my appointment. I'll put a screenshot of her hairstyle because her hair was the inspiration for how mine was cut because of how short it was. But it just means that one half of my hair compared to the other is shorter. So when I'm not putting it straight back into a low bun, sometimes I feel like it looks awkward, and that makes me feel not as confident in my hair as I would like to be. But in comparison, I don't think I could ever go back to being 4C. Right now, in terms of goals for my hair, I have very few, and I think it's the goal that everybody has for their hair, which is for it to just grow. I find that I'm just a lot more content with my hair growing at the rate that it does now, which is, in my opinion, faster than ever. But I guess that's because it's not having to grow in coil formation as opposed to just straight out of my head. And number two, that it grows in a way that's light and flowy. I don't want to have stiff hair, even if it's long. If you do decide to relax your hair, please know that it's not a decision to be ashamed of. Everyone is different, and yes, there are definitely people who will feel like you have made the wrong decision, but ultimately it's down to you. In whatever you decide, make sure that you do your own research and you ask all the questions that you feel you need to ask. So there we have it. That is my story and my thoughts on getting a relaxer. I hope you found it useful. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell. And I'll see you in the next one.